Problem on BBC Radio Wiltshire. Right, it's Volunteers Week. It's an annual celebration of the contribution that millions of people make across the country through volunteering in so many different organisations. But sports clubs, especially at grassroots level, rely so very much on the unpaid commitment of an army of volunteers. Clubs like Swindon Dolphins, their head coach is Anthony Clark, and I spoke with him earlier.
As well as the coaches, it's all the sort of behind-the-scenes staff that you don't necessarily see. We've got guys that need to organise the competitions in terms of collating entries for competitions. It's booking the pools. It's the general running of the club as well. You know, we have a strong committee, the standard committee structure of sort of chairman, secretary to make sure that the meetings run okay. And there's all sorts of others behind that. There's the membership side of things, which actually I run myself as well as coach. And of course, as well as things away from the pool, we've obviously got officials as well, and they're all sort of in voluntary roles that we need the officials for the meets to run.
Where does this army of volunteers come from? Are we talking about parents? Are we talking about previous swimmers, or just people that are keen to be helpful?
It's a bit of everything, really. I mean, the classic thing is that the volunteer workforce comes from parents, where they sort of start off, as I did, taking the children along to the sort of Learn to Swim program within a club, and then they sort of get involved themselves, and some go on to sort of do major things within the club. Others just sort of dip in as required. But as well as that, as within our club, we do sort of pride ourselves on the fact, as you mentioned there, that we make sure that swimmers are also given the opportunity to volunteer as well. And we've actually got swimmers that swim at the moment that do volunteer sort of within our Learn to Swim program. They sort of help out where they can. There is an element of people just calling up the club and saying, look, I'd like to help, and they sort of get involved that way.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of everything, really.
And how important then to highlight the role of volunteers with a week like this, with Volunteers Week?
It is important. I mean, without the volunteers, things simply wouldn't run. It's important to sort of recognise that. Having said that, as a volunteer myself, and I know a lot of majority of the other volunteers in the club certainly, enjoy what they do. They wouldn't do it otherwise.
Tell me a little bit about what's happening at the club.
So this year we've, the year is kind of punctuated by, the major things that go on in the year are the county championships, the regional champs and the national champs. We've been successful at counties and regional champs. We've had 65 swimmers go to counties, 26 swimmers go to regional champs, and we've got 8 swimmers going to national champs, which takes place in a couple of months' time. So we've done well. We're back up and running, and we've got other open meets on as well that we attend, and we're actually at one today down at Basingstoke.
Yeah. So what's today? What's the shape of today like?
Well, it's a weekend meet, so we've got 30 swimmers at Basingstoke today competing. I mean, we just sort of had a few months' block worth of training, and we're going to see how that pans out in the competition pool.
And what does the future look like in terms of the club and how things shape up for the rest of this year?
It's looking good. Our membership numbers are growing. Over COVID anyway, we kept engaged with the club members, and we kind of kept people going that way by sort of engaging them, even though we weren't in the pool. But things are looking good. Yeah, our numbers are growing. We're progressing people through the club. So, yeah, the future's bright for us.
Hey, Swindon Dolphins, if you're competing in Basingstoke today for them, good luck. And to all the volunteers across the county, whatever you're involved with and however much time you give up, do you know what? Thanks.